Hello dear students. So today we will start with a new chapter, that is cell, a basic unit of life. When we look around, we see living things as well as non-living things. You must be wondering that what is that makes a thing living? So here the answer is a cell. Yes, cells are present in all the living things. Even we are made up of cells. But what is a cell? So cell is a structural and functional unit of life. Let's break this definition and understand it part by part. Why it is called a structural unit? So in all the complex organisms, cells are arranged in a particular order and they combine to form different parts of the body. For example, cells combine to form tissue, tissues combine to form an organ, organs combine to form an organ system, and organ system combines to form a body. Okay? Now, why it is called a functional unit? So, a cell is capable to perform all the essential functions on its own. For example, a cell takes up the nutrients and convert it into energy. They are used in reproduction, in excretion, in respiration, in transport. They are specialized cells. For example, red blood cells. What is their function? They carry out oxygen from the lungs to different parts of the body. Okay? But who discovered the cell? The cell was discovered by Robert Hooke. He kept a thin slice of cork under the microscope and observed it. Now he was stunned to see that the structure looked like a honeycomb. He observed that the honeycomb was made up of small chambers, and he named those small chambers as cell. But remember that the live cell was discovered by Anton von Leeuwenhoek. Okay? Now there are unicellular organisms and multicellular organisms. The organisms which are made up of one cell are called unicellular organism. For example, bacteria, protists, fungus, and the most common example is amoeba. The organisms which are made up of many cells, they are called multicellular organisms, right? For example, plants, animals, and human beings. Now tell me one thing. Do all the multicellular organisms have equal number of cells? No. The number of cells are directly proportional to the size of the body. The bigger the size, more will be the number of cells, right? Do all the cells have similar shape and size? No. Cells are of different shapes and different sizes. For example, there are cells which are spherical, round, elongated, amoeboid shape, and spindle shaped. For example, nerve cells are elongated. White blood cells are amoeboid in shape. And what about the red blood cells? Red blood cells are spherical. They are round in shape. Okay? But the shape of the cell is related to the cell function. For example, what is the function of red blood cell? Red blood cells pass through the thin blood vessels and transport oxygen. They are biconcave. But if we change the shape of the red blood cell, they will not be able to perform their function. Right? So the shape is very important factor. Now let's talk about the cell size. Cells are of different sizes. The smallest cell is mycoplasma. It is 0.3 micrometer in length. And the largest cell is an egg of an ostrich. What about the longest cell? The longest cell is a nerve cell. Now remember one thing, that the cell size is also related to the cell function. Let's take an example. There is one mice and one elephant. Now both of them have red blood cells, and red blood cells will perform the same function in both the organisms. But the size of the red blood cells will be the same irrespective of what is the size of the organism. So in this way, cell shape and cell size are related to the cell function. Alright? I hope you understood everything in this lecture. If you have any doubt, you can ask me in the next lecture. In the next lecture, we will study about different types of cells. Okay? So thank you all of you.